good, everybody? So, as you guys know, I've been reacting to a bunch of Guilty Gear videos, and I will say, now that we have hit 50,000 subscribers, next week I will be playing Guilty Gear for the first time. Yes, I'll be checking out Guilty Gear Strive, so make sure you like, comment, subscribe if you want to be notified about that. But right now, we're going to take a look at this video. It's 14 minutes long, the entire Guilty Gear story in 14 minutes by Staven. It's got a ton of views. Holy crap. So we're gonna see if we can educate ourselves. And if this goes good, if the reception to this video is kind of peak, I may start delving into the deeper lore. Guilty Gear lore, heaven or hell. Let's go see what's happening in Guilty Gear. I'm excited.
So our story starts with a character called the Original, whose IQ was so immeasurably huge that he managed to discover the Backyard, which is a parallel.
I took an IQ test the other day, by the way. I actually took one and spent money on it. I was curious. Maybe one day I'll share it.
Dimension that governs everything that exists. Using this discovery, he decides to create a robot called the Universal Will, which is tasked with bringing true happiness to mankind, but it gets confused and becomes the main antagonist instead. Are you with me so far? Apparently, at the turn of the new millennium, Y2K actually happens, and every single electronic device in the world malfunctions in an event known as the Dawn of Revival, which plunges all of humanity into chaos. Fortunately,
so just tech just like goes bye-bye? How am I gonna watch sexy women on my phone? What am I gonna do with my infinite porn stash? What am I meant to do with no technology? How am I gonna watch my YouTube shorts? How am I gonna doom scroll TikTok? Am I gonna have to go outside? No, this is a nightmare, bro. Don't take away my tech.
There were 5 geniuses known as the Apostles who knew that Y2K was going to happen and offered a new energy source, magic. A few years later, a researcher who at this point is only known as That Man kickstarts the Gear project alongside his colleagues Frederick and Aria. It doesn't last very long. This research team entirely falls apart when That Man uses the flame of corruption to turn Frederick into the prototype Gear. Meanwhile,
what even is a Gear? I don't even know what a gear is, but okay, that guy sounds crazy. I mean, crazy scientist does crazy scientist things. Like, who's shocked?
In an effort to prevent the United States from militarizing gear technology, That Man decides...
Of course it's America. Of course. Of course. Of course it would be America. Oh, that's something that's powerful that we could use ourselves for our military? Yoink! Every time.
...to militarize gear technology.
Also, holy boobs.
The result of this is Justice, a mobile suit Gundam built on the body of Frederick's girlfriend with the ability to...
What the fuck? Why does it have a pedo? Why does it have a willy? Built from the remains of their girlfriend?
Any and all future gears created. However, thanks to the Universal Will, Justice becomes evil and gathers an army of gears to instigate a 100-year-long war against humanity called the Crusades. Her first mission is to convert all citizens of Japan into antimatter gears to expand her army. That man looks at the
antimatter gears of Japan? Not Japan!
And is like, oh shit, that's not good. And his solution is to blow up the entire country of Japan. After
Oh, I fucked up. This is all my fault. But you know what? We're gonna nuke Japan. We're gonna super nuke Japan. Holy shit. Jesus Christ.
Many years of battle, Kai Kisk's army, with the help of Frederick, who now goes by the name Soul Bad Guy, seals Justice inside a dimensional prison which puts an end to the Crusades. However, the prison only holds for about 5 years before weakening, which brings us to the very
Holy Eisen, bro.
First Guilty Gear video game.
That's all before the game? That is all before the game. Oh my god, okay.
In this game, Soul Bad Guy joins a tournament that is looking for the strongest fighters who can defeat Justice, but he discovers that the whole thing is a hoax orchestrated by a person of indistinguishable gender named Testament. Testament revives Justice using themselves as a sacrifice, and Soul starts throwing hands.
Bro, the penal again. Why does he have a penal? God damn. Uh-oh. Uh-oh. Lombo combo. Flat. Uh-oh, tail whip.
Yeah, Soul kinda whoops Justice's mechanical ass. But remember, Justice was built on top of Soul's girlfriend, so now he just has to live with the fact that he took the life of his one true love.
Oh god! Oh no! I didn't even think of that!
Sucks for him, I guess. And this brings us to our next game, Guilty Gear X.
Guilty Gear Zex.
What? Nothing
Zex?
happens in this one, but it does set the stage for Guilty Gear XX Accent Core Plus R, where Kai Kiske becomes one of
XXXXXL triple X quadruple turbo game.
the three kings for a fictional nation known as Illyria, and also falls in love with Justice's daughter, Dizzy. This
Uh-oh.
leads directly into the fourth game in the series, Guilty Gear 2, Overture, where Kai and Dizzy have a son named Sin, but because Kai would rather be a king than raise a child, he gives his son
Would rather be a king than raise... Oh, holy shit. Oh my god.
the Soul bad guy. While out on a mission, Soul and
Wait, hang on, wait.
Kai would rather be a king than raise a child, he gives his son to Soul bad guy. While
He gives his son... He gives his son to, like, his rival? Interesting.
out on a mission, Soul and Sin get attacked by an army of backyard creatures led by a woman named Valentine,
child.
who seeks to kidnap Dizzy and use her DNA to unlock the cube, which is a location in the backyard that allows any individual to control all of reality itself. Soon,
What the fuck? What is this game? Oh, a cube. The cube. Wait. Frank from God of War is in Guilty Gear? The reality cube? No way.
after, Sin experiences firsthand what it's like to have daddy issues, which causes him to run away in anger. But this backfires because Valentine kidnaps Sin and plans to use him to unlock the cube instead of Dizzy. Soul goes through a magical portal that takes him directly into the backyard and at the last second stops Valentine from entering the cube. Soul also manages to destroy the key to the cube, thus compromising Valentine's entire plan, putting an end to what would become known as the Baptisma 13 incident. Afterwards, Soul
Baptisma 13?
begins assembling a new weapon known as the Junkyard Dog from the pieces of a much more powerful weapon called the Outrage in the pachinko slot machine game called Guilty Gear Vast Edge XT, which takes place 3 months prior to the events of Guilty Gear Xrd Sign. In this game, a girl named Ramlethal declares war on the entire world, but then gets immediately captured by Soul. But then she reveals that she was only a decoy so that the leaders of the United Nations known as the Conclave can enact their true plan, which is to activate the cradle over the city of Babylon, causing an explosion and killing everybody.
Why? What the hell is... Bro, every single game there is a world-ending, reality-ending event.
Why did they do that? Soul and Kai learned
There's no reason. They're like, fuck it. We're evil. We're evil for the sake of being evil. We just want to kill and wipe out people, yes.
from an elite assassin named Zato-1 that the cradle is actually a teleporting spaceship which houses the Conclave itself, who have been warping back and forth between the backyard and reality this whole time. Apparently, the Conclave is planning to fuse their souls with the corpse of Justice and take over the world.
Oh my god, justice. It's all about justice. Justice got beaten up. What's the... Stop trying. What worked? Justice got beaten up like crazy. How about we don't?
Conclave position themselves under a giant fucking lightning bolt and are ready to begin the revival process. But then Dizzy thwarts their operation with a magic thing. I would tell you what that magic thing is, but this is what I wrote in my
They come up with a plan. Dizzy will take over the electronics that Justice will attach to in the hopes that it will prevent Justice from fusing.
notes, and I fucking wrote this shit and I have no idea what it means. Now, up to this point, I've neglected to mention this girl, named Elfelt. She literally just showed up to Kai's doorstep one day and has been chilling with the Soul bad guy crew ever since. Well, it turns out that she's actually evil and reveals herself to be a traitor, but not actually because she was really being possessed by the Universal Will, who happens to be the Sanctus Maximus Populi known as Ariel's.
Huh? I'm lost. I'm now lost. I am now the will of the people.
Who is also known as the leader of the entire world.
What's happening? What's happening? There's now a leader of the entire world? What am I experiencing?
Next game. While all that shit's happening, a sexy magical witch lady named Eno awakens that man's newest creation, Jacko Valentine. Apparently, Jacko holds one half of the soul of a woman named Aria Hale, aka Soul Bad Guy's former girlfriend.
Bro, was his girlfriend that good? Like, why is everyone obsessed with the soul of this woman? Like, hello? Why are we all... Oh my god, bro.
Who got turned into this asshole. Meanwhile, Soul and his team are on a mission to find and save Elpha from the clutches of the Universal Will. He learns from that man that this whole time...
Oh, he's actually called that man. Oh.
The Universal Will's master plan was to fuse Alpha with justice in order to create an actual perfect human being. Doing so will bring about something known as the Absolute World, which is
the Absolute World?
The result of two quantum particles appearing simultaneously within the backyard, causing both the backyard and reality to merge for a split second, thus leading to the end of the entire world. In the Guilty Gear universe, this phenomenon is what killed the dinosaurs. So yeah, we don't really want that. In addition to saving the world, that man also grants Soul...
I don't know the difference between the backyard and the reality. I have no clue. I'm lost on that one.
An opportunity to revive his long-dead girlfriend, Aria. Her soul currently resides in both Jacko and Justice.
Okay, at a certain point, man, you gotta move on. I'm sorry to be the one to say it. I feel like at this point, your dead girlfriend's been causing a lot of fucking problems. I think it's just best to move on. Like, I think at this point, like, just move on with your life.
So if you combine the two, you get a whole ass waifu. But this process is extremely risky and involves firing a giant laser directly at the both of them. So that's exactly what they do. Unfortunately, it doesn't work. The laser is just not strong enough, so they fire the laser directly at Soul so that he can use his weapon, the Junkyard Dog, to amplify the output of the laser just enough to finally complete the fusion process. With Justice destroyed and Aria revived, the crisis is averted, and the Universal Will is taken into
oh no.
Custody. When the dust finally settles, Soul and that man have one more meeting before parting ways. That man, hiding away in the shadows for so long, finally takes off his hood and reveals himself to be a cat boy who
You fools! He is just a cat boy!
Goes by the name of Oscar R. Kreutz. And you know what that means? It's time for Guilty Gear Strive, bitches!
Oh,
3 weeks after the events of Xrd, Eno breaks into the prison cell of the Universal Will and takes directly from her boobies a man named Happy Chaos. You see...
Wait, who?
Prison cell of the Universal Will and takes directly from her boobies a man named Happy Chaos.
Okay, so a man just spawns from her tits. That's not how humans are made or people are made last time I checked, but that's interesting.
You see, at some point in time, Happy Chaos stole half of Eno's powers, which is why she wants him to give her powers back so she could become a god. Happy Chaos just thinks this would be really funny, so he agrees to work with
It would just be funny. Wouldn't it be silly? Wouldn't it just be silly?
Meanwhile, Oscar turns himself in to the United States government and is personally escorted by President Vernon to the White House, where he can go into hiding in the basement. He does this right before the G4 Summit event, which sounds like the title for a Smash tournament, but is actually an event where the top world leaders gather at the White House to discuss politics, and more importantly, where White House security is top-notch. Oscar needs this kind of security because he is currently protecting a very powerful magic book known as the Tome of Origin, which
is this another world-ending item?
Eno needs in order to become a god. Meanwhile, Happy Chaos and Eno determine that since Soul Bad Guy has saved the world on multiple occasions, they should probably find a way to prevent him from doing that. Fortunately for them, Happy Chaos has prepared a trump card, a samurai vampire named Nagoriyuki, who's hidden directly underneath this residential apartment building. He could just walk in and make his way to the basement, or...
What the fuck? What the fuck? What the
Moving on, Eno then lets herself get caught by the police, which was part of their plan, but pretty much everybody finds it a little suspicious.
I just realized that on her boobs, she just has the female symbol. Why does she have the woman symbol on her tits? If it wasn't obvious enough.
Herself get caught by the police, which was part of their plan, but pretty much everybody finds it a little suspicious.
Just in case you were wondering.
that this all-powerful character got arrested by a bunch of nobodies, so they're going to have Soul present at the White House for extra security just in case Eno is planning something. But none of that matters, because when G4 actually begins, Happy Chaos mind controls all of the White House guards to be under his command, and—
Wait, Happy Chaos is kind of lit. Wait, what the— wait, he kind of cool.
now the White House is completely defenseless. Happy Chaos walks into the G4 meeting room and politely asks President Vernon to take him to where Asuka is located. Luckily, Soul rushes in and punches Happy Chaos in the face, and then he books it out of there alongside the president. Happy Chaos then says fuck it and decides to activate a previously classified government project known as Tir Nanog.
Excuse me? Excuse me?
Spelled like this, which reveals that the White House is actually a giant floating airship.
Of course it is. You know what? Of course it is. Of course, yeah, the White House is a fucking floating fucking spaceship. I should have predicted this. I should have predicted it. Honestly, yeah, just like real life.
Which is now en route to crossing the borders of Old Mexico, potentially leading to the White House getting shot down and starting a war. It suddenly dawns on Asuka that the amount of knowledge and magical power required to perform all this crazy shit can only lead to one truth. Happy Chaos is actually the creator of magic himself, the original.
What? The creator of magic himself. Holy shit. That's why he's so cool. John Magic.
Meanwhile,
so cool.
Baiken is plotting her revenge against Happy Chaos for killing her friends and family all those years ago during the Crusades, which attracts the interest of this small 12-year-old girl named Delilah, whose brother was also killed by Happy Chaos, asterisk, and wants to help Baiken kill the man. Baiken doesn't exactly condone 12-year-olds conducting assassination attempts, so
holy boobs, bro. What the fuck?
Delilah leaves to take revenge by herself and attempts to teleport straight to Happy Chaos, but fails and inadvertently creates a super high-density info space bubble directly above a massive city that can explode at any moment. Baiken is in the middle of assessing the situation when she is met with Ramlethal, who's a good girl now and was actually appointed to be the head of the Illyrian Brigade, all because she ate a burger. Baiken and Ramlethal enter a magical door portal which brings them on board an airship alongside May, April, Sin, and Faust. If there's any team that could prevent a crisis, it's this one. Using a very long rope, dragons, and a big door, the team manages to slice the info bubble in half, preventing the city—
You know, just— yeah, dude, fighting game lore is just like something else I can't comprehend. It really is. It really is just incomprehensible. You got a dragon and some other shit, and then just sliced it in half. It's just, there you go.
From exploding and saving the lives of over 120,000 citizens. Baiken and Delilah completely give up on revenge, and Faust does, whatever that is. But who gives a shit about all that, because the city is saved, and with that crisis out of the way, let's go ahead and check back in on the White House. What is he doing? The US Pentagon decides that the only solution to stop the White House from entering Mexico is to shoot it down, but they can't do that until Soul, Vernon, and Asuka are escorted off the aircraft. Conveniently, the room that Asuka is currently occupying is actually an escape pod, so Soul and Vernon start heading down there, and along the way, Vernon reveals himself to be a cyborg. Asuka attempts to use his epic—
Bros, Iron Man. Iron Man exists in the game. This entire this entire franchise locally summarized with why, because why not?
Magic skills to redirect the White House away from Mexico, but is interrupted when Happy Chaos telepathically instigates a magic duel to the death. At first, Happy Chaos appears to get absolutely bodied, but then he's like, wait a second, I'm a god, and then proceeds to go absolutely sicko mode on Asuka's ass. Meanwhile, Soul and Vernon end up running into Nagoriyuki, who has just been chilling in the White House.
Happy Chaos is a god. He is a god.
This whole time. Soul takes this as an opportunity to get Nagoriyuki to tell him what Happy Chaos's weakness is, but then accidentally kills him in the process.
Oh, you
Whoops.
moron.
Still, they manage to make it to the escape pod, but upon opening the door, Happy Chaos teleports inside and locks himself in with Asuka. But then Asuka comes out with his Uno reverse card all like, fuck you, I was never actually in the escape pod, bitch. They eject Happy Chaos off the White House and redirect the airship to safety. Crisis averted yet again. Phew.
But he still
Glad
exists.
that's over. But suddenly, the tone shifts as Asuka decides it's finally time to rid the world of Soul Bad Guy. He removes the flame of corruption from Soul, leaving behind but an ordinary man, Frederick Bulsara. The curtains finally close on a story 23 years in the making, and a dawn of a new mankind shall begin. But wait, because it turns out that the Happy Chaos
But wait, there's more!
that was ejected from the airship was fake and actually just some random guy that looked like Happy Chaos, while the real Happy Chaos was just sitting there, chillin'. Happy Chaos takes directly from Asuka's boobies the Tome of Origin, which allows Ino to finally transform into a god and do literally anything she wants. And the worst part is, Soul can't do shit about it because he's just a regular dude now.
He's
The
just
first
a
thing
regular
Ino
guy.
does with her newfound
No, the
godhood
plot
is
what?
reenact the end of
Happy Chaos won in the end.
Evangelion, which I mean, fair enough. I would probably do the same thing if I were a god. But then she says that, with the flame of corruption no longer implanted in anyone, the only thing that can defeat her now is its counterpart, the Scales of Juno. But who the hell is implanted with the Scales of Juno? Well, the Scales of Juno were originally implanted into Justice, but with the power of family trees, bullshit, God, and anime, the Scales
and anime on my side
of Juno were miraculously passed down genetically to none other than Kai Kisk.
Bro, how the fuck? I'm just nod and say yes. Just nod and say yes.
Kai, with the necessary tools in hand, confidently stands up to Ino and prepares himself to protect the entire world in the ultimate battle of man versus God. He fails. After all hope seems lost, President Vernon comes strolling out with a bin of nuclear batteries capable of obliterating the entire world, which were kind of just lying around in the Oval Office. Okay then. Surprise, Nagoriyuki is not actually dead.
He's not dead!
And conveniently tells Soul that Ino's weak point is in her right hand. Using this knowledge, Soul fucking machine guns those nuclear batteries all over Ino's right palm, completely eviscerating her from this planet and finally putting an end to the stupid-ass, overly complicated storyline. The story ends with everyone doing their own thing. Soul starts building rocket
The power scaling in this is incomprehensible.
ships in his backyard, Kai gives up on being a king, Happy Chaos comes back somehow, and Asuka pursues his new goal and true intentions throughout the entire series, starting his own Spotify podcast.
I'll begin my first radio broadcast. This is all new to me, so I'm afraid I may not be very eloquent.
Oh my god. These videos are 4 months to make with a few inaccuracies. Dude, this was a ride. This was a ride. I feel like I do need to go more in depth, but it's just random bullshit go. It is. But bro did such a good job. I feel like I have learned. I feel like I learned some information. That's what I was thinking. Yeah, like now I'm actually curious because bro, the power scaling is just like, what the hell are we doing? That's how guilty. Like, where do they go from there, man? Like, where do they go? That's kind of crazy. But yeah, no, that was cool. I'm giving that a like. I'm also subbing as well. That was a great video. That was an awesome video. Again, I will be playing Guilty Gear next week for the first time, so that's gonna be really fun. I appreciate y'all. Make sure to like, comment, and subscribe for more cool stuff, some more videos. I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace!